What's going on, everyone? I apologize again. Pitch black Boston as always. If you've watched my videos, it's always dark here. I usually make these videos after I go to the gym in the morning, just because I've been thinking about a lot of this stuff, which I probably shouldn't be while I'm in the gym, but I'm just kind of always thinking about AS and some of my clients. And, someone commented on one of my videos recently, I like the videos, but you keep saying the same exact thing over and over. And, that's kind of the point. I don't have the best production or lights and production value, but I made this channel because I wanted to share what I knew about AS, my own struggles. And at this point, I've seen hundreds with AS, and I have all this data that I want to share with people because since I struggled so much with it, I want people to do better, especially than I did in the beginning. And I want people to know what you can do with this. And I know I kind of say the same thing over and over. That's all right. If one person watches this and can improve their life, that's all I care about. So aside from that, I'm starting to realize I'm seeing a lot more severe cases with ankylosing spondylitis. A lot of my clients, severe cases at younger ages. And I think some of this, it's not always fusion. Sometimes there's no fusion. There's no damage in the spine. HLA-B27, sometimes not HLA-B27, but I'm seeing all these different cases of tightness, extreme tightness, really hard to function during the day. And I'm talking 20s, 30s, new clients, and they're really struggling. So, I think a few things are going on. One is it's hard to get diagnosed with this. And I think because of COVID, people weren't able to go to the doctor as much. Hard to get diagnosed. I hope that changes, because as soon as we know we have this, treating it as soon as possible with everything you can do, if that's medication, exercise, movement, nutrition, reducing inflammation, because I'm seeing some folks without damage with really high levels of inflammation, and that's causing their body to become really stiff and tight, and they're having just as many problems as someone with fusion. And of course, we don't want fusion. We want as little damage as possible. But if we do have fusion, we can still feel better with this. We can still really work on the mobility. So what I want to get to right now is I'm seeing a lot more of these cases, younger ages, taking longer to get diagnosed. Also, a lot more people are sitting during the day. That's everyone in America, around the world. We're sitting more for work, and I think a lot more people are staying home, working from home. We're not traveling to work, we're not walking around during the day, so a lot more sedentary stuff going on. So I'm seeing a lot more severe cases, and I'm seeing a lot of people giving up early because they're not seeing progress, or because they fall too far behind. That's one of the main things I see. They fall too far behind, and then it becomes very challenging to get into certain positions. I have folks that have trouble reaching overhead, bending over without back pain, tying their shoes, laying on the ground, laying on their back is a big one, because just the spine gets so tight, the neck gets so tight, it's so hard to be in that position. And as time goes on, it's harder and harder to exercise because we can't get into these positions to exercise. So we really have to fine tune it. So my mission is people to get moving as soon as they can. Newly diagnosed, best time to get moving. Once we know we have this, once we know, all right, we might have an inflammatory arthritis, we want to get that inflammation as far down as possible. And diet matters for that, exercise matters for that, movement matters, meditation, mindset, everything matters for inflammation. But aside from inflammation, we want to get moving as soon as possible. And it's never too late to get moving. I have folks in their 40s who are really struggling, but we want to get moving as soon as possible so we can feel a little better, remain functional, because if we keep waiting, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse, unfortunately. AS doesn't stop for anyone. I made a video on Instagram recently about people, there's been a lot of clickbait videos. A lot of people are using ankylosing spondylitis for that awe factor, right? It's horrible. It's horrible. I want to speak out more about it, but I don't know if that's my thing. My thing is just trying to give my story. But a lot of people are saying this cures AS, this cures AS. But in reality, it's like these small goals every day, just trying to keep moving, trying to keep a healthy mindset. So the most important thing, as soon as possible, find some sort of movement you can do. aside from exercise, because I'm seeing people having trouble crossing a leg over, seated, they're having trouble on the ground. So we need to work these positions at your comfort level so we can continue to do it, because when we stop doing it, the body has a really hard getting back into that. And I've had that over the years too. One thing happened to me when I was first diagnosed, the doctor said, lay on your stomach as much as possible. You have such trouble in that position. And I shied away from it for a long time because it was so uncomfortable. I would get these knots in my back. But then over time, I was like, let me find that sweet spot where I can work it, progress it, but it doesn't cause pain. That's what I want everyone to do. As soon as possible, we try to find that sweet spot. We try to find, how do I work on these different movements, these different positions without aggravating anything, without causing pain, but where we can start to progress it. And that might be a really small range of motion. That's where you start. And that is the most important thing with this. As soon as possible, start working these different positions, most comfortable range of motion. So I want to end this with, how can we do that? So getting into these different hip stretches seated, but really gradually getting into it with core tight, flat back, because people have trouble crossing the leg over and stretching that hip. So finding that sweet spot, using a wall to check on the posture. Even if it's really hard to, if you've seen some of my videos, I do a lot of those postural slides against the wall. Even if that's hard, work on the posture against the wall. Work on that whole back engaged, core engaged. Find little ways to work on these things. Getting on the ground, using support to get up so it's not as hard, but really gradually increasing some of these things. Even walking around the house, if you have trouble walking the stairs, really starting out just every day, taking a flight of stairs once, doing it the next day, and you'll see these things will get easier and easier, and that's how we build on anything. So get started as soon as possible. These small goals is how I got there, and I never thought I'd get there. That's why I say the same thing as my friend who commented on my video. That's why I say the same thing over and over, because I never knew it was possible. I had the same struggles with all this stuff, but I was like, I have to do it because I just see my body deteriorating. So these positions that were extremely uncomfortable for me have gotten so much better. And for me to keep doing it, I have to keep thinking small goals, because when that tightness comes in, you have to just concentrate on right now, what can I do right now to just keep it going? So that's what I want everyone to do, keep it going. I want to kind of change the way we think about ankylosing spondylitis, get moving as soon as possible, find that right routine for you that doesn't make things worse, but starts to make things better so we can keep going. See you next time.